Podcast Amsterdam.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Treehouse Lounge, the show where we delve into the creative worlds of resident artists shaping tomorrow's culture. I'm Rachel.
En I'm Sander.
To give you an introduction to Treehouse is an artist incubator platform at NDSM, housing over 100 artists of all disciplines. And today we are lucky enough to be sitting down with a few of those residents to discuss some upcoming events. Before we get stuck into things, we want to extend our thanks to Bram for hosting us again.
Thank you, Bram.
The station streams 24/7 online at broadcastamsterdam.nl, and a catch-up of all of our episodes is available via their platform on demand. Today, we have Alina, Treehouse resident and member of the Ukrainian art group Ye Collective, and a co-curator of our upcoming exhibition, Come Back to Your Nature/Culture, taking place between September 17th and October 11th.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you for joining us. We're very excited for you to be here today. So Alina, let's talk a little bit about the theme of this exhibition. Can you talk us through the concept, the idea behind it, and why you decided to get involved?
This theme is about nature and about touching climate changes. I was invited there because my artist practice also touching themes of nature. I never worked with global warming or like these topics, even though I'm worried about that. Mm-hmm. And it was very interesting for me to look at this not from black and white point, but from the point of reflecting on the topic and personal responsibility.
Can you tell me a little bit about what this topic means to you and where the idea actually came from as well?
I start to think from these black and white points, how it works in my head. Like, what is opposite to nature? Usually it's culture. Why? Because when I was studying Ukraine in my university and college, all the time when we were introduced to culturology, we were coming to the word culture, that originally it comes from Latin word cultura, cultivate, like to do something with something that already exists. And usually it also was, this word was used for the earth. When people work on the earth, they cultivate it. Mm-hmm. So then I come to the point that I am an artist. I'm the one who work in the cultural sector, right? I'm the representative of culture. Mm-hmm. So, and it's also doing something with nature by its root and the meaning, right? Mm-hmm. It's doing something and changing it. It's not always bad. Because everything starts from that moment, right? When we start to use and manage with what we have, like the humanity, and then it comes more and more to the point where we are right now. So we are, as artists, as a people of culture, we should as well like dig and understand that all our acts, somehow, they're interacting with nature. Mm-hmm. This is a bit of maybe of my mind processes that I was thinking about first hearing about the topic of the exhibition. Mm-hmm. And then this name comes. Yeah. Because I'm inviting people to think to which position you want to come back. Mm-hmm. Which is your basic. Are you come from nature or you are a culture? Who you are? So those like abstract topics for me were very much united. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In the personally in artist itself, if it makes sense.
Yes, it does. And of course, you're co-curating this alongside Treehouse's in-house curator Mulan Go. Can you talk me through the collaborative process there? Was this the first time you've collaborated with someone? How does it work? What was your approach?
Yeah, this is my first time to collaborate with Mulan. And actually, this is my first time to collaborate with someone in curating. Mm-hmm. And I like it very much because I definitely enjoy the process we had with Mulan and our conversations and how to also understand, because you know, English is not my native language. And for me, sometimes to form abstract concept, it's even hard in Ukrainian. And to bring them up in English, it's also difficult. But we did it We find some middle spot, and also about the artist who we choose to invite, who apply for this open call. Also, there were a lot of match. So I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
Of course, we spoke a lot about it, but what is exactly what the people will see? What will they see in your exhibition? Is it like visual art or sounds or a combination of something? What will the guests, can they see? What can they expect?
So for now, we're still waiting for the answers of artists who we select, but hopefully it will be multidisciplinary exhibition. We'll have videos, we'll have hopefully performance.
Oh, nice.
Installation. Yeah, installations mostly. So it will be exciting actually. And I can say that there will be grade of different experiences for participants, because there will be artworks from gentle personal experience to a global and even prophesying approach. So
nice.
Ooh, intriguing.
It sounds. I'm curious.
Yeah. You also mentioned before this conversation that the open call was very popular as well. So yeah, I'm very curious to see what comes out of it. Why do you think this topic really drew so many artists in?
I cannot say that I know how many artists before were applying for other open calls, but for me it was amazing amount, like 127 people.
Wow.
And we need to select 10.
Oh, wow.
That's not a job I want to have.
It took me 3 days. Go through them, because I'm very responsible. I want to know
Of course.
everyone. I want to see their portfolio. I want to know the idea. And my opinion, personal opinion, that actually this topic is very relevant, because we all understand that something has happened with this world and with our climate. And
I'm sitting here sweating because it's so hot.
Exactly. And not only because of the light that we have here in the studio.
Yeah, it's a heat wave right now.
But it's just really hot. For my country, it's okay in summer, but I know that here it's...
Yes, but it used to be hot, but not like this. So we should all know, there is so many changes happening.
And they are non-convertible, or how it goes. Like they are not, it will be not better. It will be different.
Yeah.
So this topic, everybody involved, we are all involved in this topic. I think most artists had ready, like their works were already ready to show, because this topic is so important and so relevant for every thinkable person. And I was impressed that those works were not just general. Some of them were, of course, who applied, like general, it's bad, we'll die, and it's like very black and white.
Yeah.
But those work that we select, that were about personal experience, about personal responsibility, about the heritageal responsibility and repentance now in this generation, and change of the way of how person see the world or live the life. And it impressed me and inspired me as well. But I think there are also this topic as well relevant for a lot of galleries in a lot of countries, because we receive artists from all around the world.
Nice.
And I saw that their works, they already show, some of works were ready and showed in other exhibitions. So as I can assume that even though we try to make our concept from other side, like not general about global warming or the problems with changing of climate, even though the works were fitting very much because they were deeper, I even cannot impress my excitement about how beautiful it was, and not simplifying. This is what's most important for me.
And do you think your own experience as a creator or an artist influenced your approach to curation in any way, or do you think that played a part in how you established a process or looked at the way of selecting artwork?
Oh, it's hard to say simply, because in the way I'm curating, there are different, or like several points that I use. I keep in my mind that I don't want black and white. Point of view. I keep in my mind that they should answer the question, or also they should know what they're speaking about. So if the work of the artist from Japan, and they try to speak about Australia. Then we have question. So those core points, they helped a lot in selection, but my practice, I think all things that I'm doing right now in my artwork and my work as a social worker, they all combine in me skills that help to be very focus on what I want and what actually will align with the topic, and even to be a bit harsh in that, you know, but I have a list of those who unfortunately we couldn't invite, but they were so sweet, you know, because I like when it's a bit fun. When there is some, I know that this is kind of, it could be quite sarcastic when we want to speak about climate changes with fun or like global disaster with fun, but you know, there could be such a nice and it's so sensitive topic right now.
Yes.
I'm going very
It's okay.
dangerous.
It's an open conversation.
That's
We
true.
keep an open mind.
That's true. But when it's about moral, like I want to teach you how to live, this is one approach. You're very serious and you are like preaching to people. But when you have the information and you have understanding of the danger or the tragedy, and then you speak of that with such a beautiful form, with wisdom, with fun, and then it became sparkling. And I catch them, you know, like, yes, you're brilliant. And then some of them are so gentle and so poetic, but unfortunately don't fit very much to our topic. So some of them I collect like such a pretty poetic piece, but sorry, not today, not this time.
Maybe for a future.
I would like to keep these contacts and to maybe even meet for collaborations for the future.
I do want to hook into that because, of course, we hear you about curating, we hear about exhibition, but you're a resident here. So I'm curious, what do you create?
Here in Treehouse, I'm creating a bit different that I was creating back then in Ukraine. And you know, every Ukrainian artist, the life has two stages, before and after.
Yes.
Right now, my art practice is much more inspired and focused on temporality, temporary living, temporary displacement, forced displacement, or changing your place of living, and very much on rooting, like where you are right now, how to be rooted if you are here temporary. Because I actually struggle with that. I was on the position, I'm that person who, because of Russian full-scale invasion, choose to live here. And this choice, of course, make my life different. And I need to learn how to live in this life. And still holding and handling everything because war is still going on. At the same time, trying to live here and now. And of course, I start to looking for other people who were going through the same. And my artwork right now is much more participative. Where I invite people with the same experience of temporary displacement or forced displacement. And I'm mostly interested in Ukrainians because this case I found really unique. Of course, it was with like 30 years ago with Serbia. And of course they integrate very much or come back because everything changed. But for Ukrainians right now, with new medias, with the social medias, that all we are connected to Ukraine back. Everything is so different. So I'm very interested in how people try to live their new life and not closing the previous life. So I'm doing project that calls Rootless. It's ongoing project. And I invite people from Ukraine to come together, to remember, to search, to create, and to share their relationship with plants. Their plants from childhood. Because all of us had like some interaction with plants in childhood when we were in a countryside house, summer house. And every person has their own experience. Even if you were not going somewhere to the village at summer, you had your home plans. So all of them are connected. And then after a few meetings, there is an exhibition that calls Shared Garden. And we are then white shared because now we are here in the new environment. We invite everyone to come to this garden to take a look how this childhood garden looks like and which stories it keeps.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And I imagine you explore a lot of those themes with your group, the Ye Collective. Can you tell me a little bit about how the collective formed and how you kind of work together today?
Oh, Ye Collective, it's an interesting topic because we all are different. We are multidisciplinary collective. We have actually now it's very on the stage of reforming because we all grow. We were formed in 2022, like bunch of creative young Ukrainians who were by different reasons appear here in Amsterdam. Actually, mostly one reason, but some of Ukrainians were already study here. Then we start to do some art works together, exhibitions, film, broadcasting, promoting Ukrainian culture here. Not like a most well-known way, like more popular way, but more underground. Some guys from our collective, they are artists, like musicians. Actually, our collaborations as a collective, we were helping each other with producing different events. For example, guys want to play their music, and then I am supporting them and helping with what can I do, like how just physically helping them to make it real. Then other part of our Ye Collective, she's doing design, 3D design. She's helping with posters and everything. So it was most like an, I can say, our collective as event production. And now, of course, we are reforming. Guys want to make their own label. I have my ambitions to, like, I really like curating. So I really look into that point. And I'm also very much right now in social work. I also work with displaced Ukrainians in temporary locations. So I'm also trying to implement it in my artwork as well. So I feel like we all are much more individual right now and growing in our ways.
Yeah, so you were talking about your experience at Treehouse and how that's kind of maybe helped your collective evolve and how it's continuing to evolve in this space.
Yeah, I can say that Treehouse was our first home for Ye Collective in many ways, hosting us in the beginning when guys had this ambition to do ADA streaming with Kyiv. So DJs from Amsterdam were streaming to Kyiv and Kyiv was streaming here. And it was amazing, like two words coming together in one topic of music. It was important and very interesting that first trial was fail and then guys started and did it again in their own event, already not in ADA but here in Treehouse. It was also a very impressive event. I think it was 2 years ago. I think it was very beginning of our residency here. And of course, when we just received a studio, for me, that time I was living with a host family, the Americans who host displaced Ukrainian. Yeah. And for me, it was my room that time where I was living, but it was temporary. It was with people who I didn't know before. Yeah. And it was still much more like it was safe. It was my place. I had everything that I need. But this place, when we started to rent a studio, it felt like home.
Yeah, it was actually yours.
It was actually
you didn't have to share
ours. We shared with 5 more people.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. It's like you had your own rules, your own things. Yes. You could choose how you share it and you can create your own space.
Exactly. And it felt so warm. Like how Treehouse received us and how encouraging for us as well it was. Like, for example, inviting me to co-curate this exhibition, I felt also very much welcomed to do something more that I did already.
Yeah.
So it was like a new horizon.
Nice.
And in Amsterdam as a whole as well, what has your experience been like in the wider creative community? Are there kind of places that you like to go here? Are there exhibition spaces that you frequent? What has your experience been like in this city?
Oh, this is, I'm very person about details. I'm very detailed person, or like about details. I can start even not from whole Amsterdam. I can start from NDSM. That NDSM is already so different and so diverse. Thank you. This is word. This is the word. So diverse. And we have also NDSM Lodz, where there are a lot of artists, like a huge artist community of pioneers who were here in the beginning of NDSM. And the gallery Fuse as well, like cinema. I totally forgot the name. Maka.
Yeah.
So NDSM Stichting already
Yeah.
such a diverse and like such a amazing community here, and studios right there. Like I don't know how it calls, but also close to Kran. It's so impressive for me. I also like Straat. Like recently, I was invited by my friend to go to the opening of new exhibition. It was impressive how beautiful colors and street art is there, and also just being here in NDSM, participating some events of like invited artists, I can meet such a lot of different artists and people here. So my answer, I cannot even go further on to Amsterdam, because if I'm focused here, it's already quite I have this image in my head like bubbling and a firework, very sparkling place.
Nice.
So it's for me already. But thinking about museums that I would like to go in quite often, I like Foam Museum.
Oh yeah,
the photo
one.
Never been there.
Photography.
Never been there.
With museum card. It's just
it's a great one. Yeah. They also had a very nice nature exhibition recently, I think. It was very beautiful.
Also, Rijksmuseum, for me, it's always good. Just because they sometimes open some topics that are not typical for me. I didn't know about. I remember the first exhibition when I just arrived. It was about decolonization, about, if I'm not mistaken, it calls something like action. No, I don't remember. But for me, it was like, all right. So actually, Netherlands work with their history. Look to that. I don't know how good they look to that, but they really
That's
look.
up for discussion, but I think they are trying to do better.
But it was impressive for me that National Museum made a huge exhibition of protests, of like resilience of colonies and everything. I was impressed because I want the same for Ukraine.
Yeah, I understand.
I can imagine.
And I guess my last question to you is, for visitors that are planning to come to this exhibition in September, what kind of emotions are you hoping that they what kind of emotions are you hoping the artwork evokes? What kind of message are you hoping that visitors go home with after visiting?
In general, okay, let's hope that we would be able to create what we really want. We want to create a place where every participant could recognize themselves, could be comforted, at the same time could be a bit questioned, and at the very end receive hope. It will be an interesting way and very thoughtful way, but it's worth it.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Beautifully said as well. So
Thank you.
Alina's co-curated exhibition, Come Back to Your Nature/Culture, will run at Treehouse between September 17th and October 11th. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting.
To give you a taste of what to expect from the upcoming Live at Our Place, Kasper will now perform a rendition of his song Spinning Wheels and Traffic Lights. You can catch more of Kasper during the upcoming edition of Live at Our Place on September 25th, alongside the musical trio IRT. To see our interview with Kasper and Aurel of IRT, listen on demand via Bram or via Treehouse's YouTube. We now welcome Cristina, a jewellery maker, sculptor, and participant in the upcoming event Alice's Noord, where she'll be bringing her practice in the form of a workshop. Welcome, Cristina.
Welcome.
Thank you.
First off, for those who might not be familiar with you and your work, could you give us a little introduction to you and what you do here at Treehouse?
Yes, as you already know, my name is Cristina. I'm here at Treehouse for only 4 months and a bit. I started my artwork as a jeweler, but my work also evolved through metal sculpture. So now I'm tackling both the practices. I'm also making jewelry, but I'm also experiencing with all kinds of metals and structures. My work mostly relies in following the traces of nature and transformation in accordingly with these practices that I do. So the main focus of my work is basically finding the metaphor behind transformation and objects that I create, giving them another image in people's eyes and perceptions.
Beautiful. And as you just said, you focus on exploring the relationship between nature, memory, and transformation. Your focus, as you just said, is largely on exploring the relation between nature, memory, and transformation. What first brought you to question how these elements intertwine?
Well, I don't think that there was something specific that led me to this idea, but it was more like just thinking about the process through which I see life and events in general, I believe. Because at the core of everything that I believe, it's transformation. So for me, jewelry, nature, us as humans are the expression of transformation. So if we tackle every element that I use in my work and start with jewelry, if you think about jewelry, in the beginning and before it was purely a design thing or an accessory, jewelry were meant to signify something. Belonging, for example, tribes would mark their people with certain kind of jewelry. Jewelry would mark a certain happy or sad event in people life, a status in society a long time ago. So basically, jewelry, it was always a vessel of memory for all of us, and it should be like that, in my opinion, not just a pure accessory. So thinking about it, if you're thinking about a jewelry, you take them polished and very fine from, an artist or from a shop. But over time, it keeps the traces of your life. It gets scratches, it gets bended. A lot of things happens with a ring. And before, these objects were even inherited. So they kept a very long memory of someone's life. And I think that is the same process that nature follows, for example, because if we take a rock now in the X moment that we are, that rock is the result of a lot of natural events. For example, it's shaped by water, it's shaped by wind, and it's the same with us humans and with the jewelry. So it's kind jewelry and nature and everything that I do along this artistic path. It follows kind of the same structure, let's say, in life. You go through things, and every experience models you and defines you in a certain way and changes you forever, probably. And it's the same with jewelry, with people, with nature. So they are kind of interconnected, and I think that we don't really analyze this a lot. So that was my process when I thought about what my work needs to show to other people.
On the topic of jewelry making, can you tell us when you first got into jewelry making? How did you start to learn how to do this?
Well, I wish it would have been a romantic story about how I always knew I want to be a jeweler, but it's definitely not the case. Long story short, before I got into jewelry school, I went to communication and media university. So after that, of course, as any other young person, I thought, okay, my job is in the office. So I went to have a job in an office.
Job in an office.
And that, didn't really fit my way of living and my personality. So jewelry was basically a leap of faith, maybe a happy accident, let's say, because it wasn't intended to last. I was just, I have to leave my job, but I also have to do something, to explain the people that love me and care for me that, okay, what's your plan? And I was like, what do I like? Because before university, I danced ballet. I thought that that's going to be my life. Guess what? It wasn't. So I said, I like jewelry. I'm going to be a jeweler, naturally. So I went to jewelry school, and I had the privilege of loving it as I used to love ballet when I was practicing it. From the first moment when I entered the studio, I realized that, okay, this was meant to be. I took it as a joke almost. But it was the first time in a very long time when time basically stopped. So I could stay at the bench work and work for 12 hours without eating or thinking about house, my cat, going to the bathroom, whatever. So this is how it started in the beginning, just as a bet, let's say. And after that, I know it's a cliche, but I realized that I cannot really live without it because it was kind of a non and off practice for me. It didn't start and then never ended. It started, it ended. I took another job, turned back to marketing, then turned back to jewelry. And up to a point, I was like, okay, that's it. I have to make a final decision. So this is how it started. And just last year, I decided to just go full on this path. And I really think that I've made the right choice.
Yeah. It's nice to hear.
I mean, you said it wasn't a romantic story, but you told it pretty romantically. So
I have a way with words when I have words with me.
You just don't realize you're saying them in that way. And so how has your work kind of evolved since its inception? How have you kind of developed your own distinct, let's say, positioning or identity?
I wouldn't say that I developed yet a distinct identity. Quite to the opposite. I think that just now I'm in the middle of my experiment. Because in the beginning, I was very attracted to the manual working of jewelry, to the classical techniques, very manual, non-technologized techniques. So I was approaching jewelry in a very narrow way in the beginning because I thought that manufacturing is gonna get ruined by technology because you see all these mass produced jewelry that I'm strongly against, obviously, as any jeweler.
Yeah, it's not an artisan anymore. It's just like mass produced.
Yeah. And I get the point of that. I get the fact that handmade jewelry, it's expensive and it takes time. And of course, it's a niche. Not everybody can afford it. So now I get the idea of that part of the jewelry side. But anyway, in the beginning, I was only approaching very classical techniques. So I was kind of narrowing my horizon in a certain style. I was very drawn to the organic style, obviously, as you can tell from the beginning of the interview. And after a while, especially after coming here, I realized that, okay, this kind of style talks to me, but it doesn't talk to other people. So maybe I should approach more minimalistic or art deco or other kinds of designs that are also beautiful. Of course, they are not speaking to me, but a lot of things are not speaking to me and speaking to others. So I think that the way my practice evolved, it's not only, but mainly experiencing and experimenting with different techniques, with different technology, because now I understand that it's meant to help, not to destroy the manufactory. So yeah, that's the main thing. I think that it just opened my horizons, and that's the main step in my evolution that I can recall now.
Yeah. And you kind of have the same approach to sculpting, which is a little newer for you as well. Correct? Or
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's also related to the organic field.
Yeah.
But it's quite new. So the sculpting part, to be honest, I don't really know where it's gonna go or if it's gonna stick.
Yeah.
It's just jewellery, but maybe in another medium. But the idea kind of remained the same. It's also about embracing the memory that an object can hold, and about finding the metaphor between object and people and nature and everything that surrounds us.
Yeah. Can you expand a little bit more on your relationship with nature and how that's kind of influenced or inspired you in your work?
I think that I always turn back to nature for, I don't know, when seeking comfort, when being sad or celebrating being happy. If you think about it, I mean, in my mind, nature it's kind of linked with happy memories, with my parents and my brothers going to a picnic in the forest, or going to the mountains, or going to the sea. So I think that a lot of times when we feel strong emotions, we find ourselves going back on a walk in the park, or just staring at the sky, or just watching the sunset. So I think that without understanding and without feeling it necessarily in an active way, we are very connected with what surrounds us. Some people, I don't know, are meteosensitive, for example. If that's not connection to nature, then I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I feel so drawn to it.
Yeah.
And it's also the realization that it follows the same path. It's the true example that nothing is ever perfect, even if we see it as perfect. Because if you look at the rainfall, it's perfect for us, but it's not actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some beautiful rocks are perfect, they are so beautiful. They make you have goosebumps. They're not
Beauty in
perfect.
chaos.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like us. But nature embraces it,
Yeah.
and it's taking it forward. We kind of try to stop it, and I think that's what I learned watching nature and following the process of it.
On that note, can you take us into your kind of creative process, or what are your starting points? Let's say you're setting out on a new jewelry piece or a new sculpture. What is kind of going through your head? Can you take us into your world a little bit?
Yes, it's very different depending on every situation. Because if you are talking about jewelry, then, as I said before, and now I tend to approach more the person that wants the jewelry than the jewelry itself. Before, it was the other way around. So when making a jewelry, I try to understand the person itself, what they like, how they are, because a lot of textures and techniques can speak to a way a person is. I know it sounds very abstract, but when you are doing this work, you kind of feel it,
Yeah.
You have a texture in your mind and you're like, yeah, this is you. It's not very polished, it's not polished, it's not very abstract, it's somewhere in between, let's say. So yeah, when making a jewelry, it's a lot about talking with the person that is gonna own that jewelry. Because for me, it's not my manufactory that needs to last in their memory, but it's the memory that they have, or the attachment that they have to that piece.
Yeah.
So I don't want necessarily for people to say, oh, this piece is made by Cristina. I want them to say this piece means something, whatever that means for them. So that's a way of approaching a side of my work. The other side with the sculpture is different, because as you may already know, sometimes you respond to open calls for exhibition. So you have a theme. The process is quite simple there. You need to fit your creation into the exhibition's theme. So yeah, that's just working around your ideas. When I have a freehand project, you never know where it goes. I just start, my brain just works that way. I just have a sudden idea, biking.
Yeah.
I take my phone and record. Who knows
So
what?
your voice memos is full up.
Yeah, and it's full of insanity. That's why. It's like create an idea about da, 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 whatever. So yeah, it basically starts from a very abstract thought that I have in a random place, never when thinking about work.
Yeah.
And then I just start it and adjust on the way.
Okay.
So nothing that you saw or you will see from my hand, it's ever the result of an end game that I planned.
So, and maybe you don't have an answer to this question, but is there a particular sculpture you're working on at the moment, or maybe a project that you're working on?
Well, I always have a tons of projects that I work on, but I can tell you about the ones that excites me the most.
Yeah.
And maybe start with the beginning of the story. When I started trying this sculpture path, it was because I was very inspired by two artists from a long time ago. One of them was Bruno Munari. Bruno Munari was an Italian artist that created these objects that were called useless machines. So it was basically also a kinetic sculpture that was transformed by the medium. It would change its shape depending on the direction of the wind or something like that. And I thought, okay, that's amazingly beautiful, but obviously it's useless. It carries only the purpose of design. So somehow I wanted that my sculpture to own not only the purpose of design, but maybe also to have this trace of memory that I keep following in my work.
Yeah.
So I thought that I can create a useless machine that has the use of a memory. Because all of us, for example, buy t-shirts from concerts or from Disneyland or a holiday. But we kind of let them forgotten in a drawer. They kind of lose their purpose, but they keep their meaning. So when I started creating these kinetic sculptures, I started destroying these objects and putting the materials in other materials like epoxy or melted plastic. So they can still hold that memory, but they also have a purpose of design that you see around. So my kinetic sculptures in the beginning were made from this kind of materials, hanged in people's houses. I mean, in the beginning, to be honest, in my house, because nobody bought them, of course. So now I'm very eager to make a similar project from Treehouse, because I think that even the name of this place resembles a lot with my way of thinking about the world.
Yeah.
And I realized that up to recently, we didn't even have trees.
Yeah.
So I want to make the shape of a tree that has elements from every artist that is a resident at Treehouse. So for example, every leaf will have, from a painter, maybe you give me an old painting brush. I destroy it, pour it in a shape, put it in a shape, create your own leaf from that tree. If you are, I don't know, a musician, you give me an old string from your guitar and I can put it in epoxy and we can create a shape from that as well. And it's to be honest, it's the first time when I'm speaking about it.
It's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Gotta be a big tree.
Thank you. No, I wanted to be a project for the pavilion, so kind of a constant exhibition.
Yeah.
But I think that it resembles what Treehouse means for me and what it should mean from the beginning, even from the people that created it. It's a community.
Yeah.
That together, we're not working together often, but together we are creating the image of Treehouse.
Yeah.
And I think
It's like
that
a
it
big
should
heritage
be
tree with everyone's.
exactly like that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is amazing because you're still fairly new to Treehouse as well. So to already have this kind of feeling towards the community here is so lovely to hear, actually. Can you talk me through a little bit about your first few months here and how they've gone for you?
Well, I think that I've had a happy experience because naturally I'm a very social person. So I don't really feel shy, or I don't really feel struggle when integrating in a new space. So the first few months were basically, I mean, I'm in the first few months still only 4 months, but to be honest, it feels like 2 years. But let's say that the first few months were the first two. So in the first two, I was a bit shy in the beginning, but everyone was very eager to help and to ask me questions and to, I don't know, just to talk to me. Maybe it was also their curiosity, but I think that it was also a big feeling of helping and integrating the people in this environment. Since the first month, I used to hang out after hours with some residents here, maybe just for a talk or for a glass of wine or just sharing a meal. So after that, those nights turned into later nights and maybe early mornings. So yeah, it's amazing what this place did for me, because it was also very inspiring.
Yeah.
Because you see people work, you see the way they think, and it's so beautiful to see, for example, tree painters that are painting in the same style, maybe, but they have such a different way of approaching the world and their work and the way they are looking at life. That's also giving me, and I think people around, a different perspective that you wouldn't have without being in this exact environment.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, long story short, my first months at Treehouse were awesome.
Good.
And during this time, you've also hosted a few workshops as part of Treehouse's creative school with specifically jewelry making events. What do you enjoy most about this teaching process? And are there things that you still kind of learn from the students, or not students, the participants that come and take part?
I think that I definitely enjoy the process the most. From the beginning of the workshop, I mean, me thinking about the curriculum of it and the materials and what they can approach and what they cannot approach, to the point where I see them struggle. But it's a beautiful struggle, you know. It's the struggle of creativity. So far, if I should pick my favorite moment when teaching, it's not the end result when they are like, oh, I did it, but it's the way I see that spark in their eyes when they figure something out. Because my approach in teaching, let's say, is not giving you all the answers. It's giving you a base, and then you can evolve and create around that base. Because I think when people are coming to a new creative activity, they have something that me as a jeweler that is schooled in this field, I don't have anymore. They have the freedom of not knowing. So when you don't know a certain technique, you are so free to experiment and to maybe invent things. So I don't like to ground them and say, this is like that, this is like that. You should file only in one direction, even though you should. That I say.
Noted.
But I like them to create their own way of approaching it. So that's my favorite part. About the learning, it's also linked to the fact that they don't know the basic techniques. So seeing them approaching, I don't know, a ring in a way I wouldn't even think about, it's also a learning process for me. And it's also the fact that they keep things simple sometimes. So it also helped me turn back to maybe technique or approaches that I wouldn't use anymore, because I think more complicated after having more experience in this field.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I don't think that you ever stop learning in arts, and in jewelry, definitely not.
So first you had to learn the rules, and now you have to learn to break the rules.
Yeah, because the rules, I mean, jewelry was invented a long time ago, and we have multiple schools in jewelry. We have the French school, we have the German school, we have the American school. They all approach, for example, I don't know, filing in the same way, but different. Or I don't know, other techniques. So you kind of learn all of them, so you never have time to experience your own, because you're usually on a deadline, you know. I need to make an engagement ring when in a month. Well,
And you're bringing iterations of this workshop as well to Alice's Noord. Can you tell us a little bit about what these workshops will involve and what can people expect if they join us on that day?
yes. Well, first of all, there are going to be 2 workshops for Alice's Noord. The first one, I think it's the first one in the schedule as well. It's going to be a workshop for kids, something that I've never did before. So it's also an experiment for me, and it's also very challenging. So I basically want to create a playground for the kids to just gather their creativity and create their first piece of jewellery. And it's not necessarily about jewellery, but about the manual work itself and the joy of seeing the end result of manual work. Because I think that especially nowadays, and I'm sorry, I don't want to be that kind of person who says, oh, kids are always on their tablet and on their phone. But especially nowadays when this is happening a lot and we acknowledge it a lot, I think that we kind of lose the joy of creating with our hands from a very young age. And I think that also happened to my generation, but maybe less. So when I discovered it, being younger, I was what? I can do it. So I imagine that pure joy a kid can have, because you cannot compare that joy with anything that you feel as an adult. So it's maybe a selfish way of experiencing the joy of a kid in my work. And the other workshop, it's a workshop that I also hold here, is the introduction to jewellery with organic textures. So basically you can join the workshop and try and maybe succeed in making a jewellery with an organic texture, maybe a ring, maybe a bracelet, a necklace, whatever you want. We'll have everything to make whatever crosses your mind, even a home design object. So yes, this is what I'm gonna do at Alice's Noord, and those workshops, of course, you can find them afterwards at Treehouse.
So Cristina will be joined by many other artists from Treehouse during Alice's Noord, which is taking place in Noord Park on August 30th. Christina's workshops make up a wider program at Treehouse over the coming months. In September alone, we'll be hosting several performances as part of Amsterdam Fringe Festival, with many on-site storytellers already readying themselves for the event taking place between September 8th and 11th. On that note, our in-house theatre group, Flock Theatre, has many exciting workshops coming up, from improv discovery to puppetry masterclass. Elsewhere, Louis Gabriel will be hosting a linoprint workshop on September 19th through his studio Inked Lines. We've got the Queer Makeup Club by Maria and clay workshops by Helga and Damler. To sign up for any of our events and for more information, visit our website treehousendsm.com. For now, that wraps up the 3rd edition of the Treehouse Lounge. Thank you to Alina and Cristina for giving us a peek into their worlds. We hope to see you at their respective events.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, of course, to Bram Radio as well, the 24/7 online streaming station. A catch-up of this episode will be available via their platform on demand.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and share and post on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere else.
Thank you for joining us.
And follow the artists.
As well.